channel, or hello if you're new. Bad breath. We have all been there, done that, and it can be quite embarrassing. These tips are going to help avoid that situation and to make sure you never find yourself in that situation, especially if you have stinky breath and you're on a date. That is just hella embarrassing. I've done so many videos lately on like things such as hygiene hacks, how to make sure you smell good all day long, so I'll leave all those videos down below for you if you're curious, but I thought I would do a whole video solely around bad breath and how to avoid it. Let me know by leaving a comment down below for me, letting me know one hygiene problem you may struggle with, and then maybe I'll do a whole video on it and little tips and tricks on how to avoid it, how to help that situation. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you can always follow me on my socials. I have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and a Facebook page, and you all know I'm very social on my Instagram, so if you want to head over and talk to me on there, you can always do so. With that being said, let's jump into the tips. So this first tip is really common sense, but I thought I'd throw it out at the beginning, and I know a lot of us dread it, but that is to make sure that you are regularly seeing your dentist and doing those checkups, because you need to make sure that you're keeping up with your oral hygiene. And of course, the best way to do that is to make sure that you are staying up to date with your dentist. I know a lot of us dread going to the dentist and it's not a fun time, but once it's done and over with, you feel so much better about yourself that you did it. Of course, the dentist is gonna know a lot more than we do and is going to tell us if there's anything funky going up in there. Unless you're a dentist watching this or you're studying to be a dentist, then you definitely know a lot more than me, but for myself personally, I definitely need to go to a dentist so they can tell me what's up. If I have any questions or concerns, they can always let you know. You'd actually be really surprised that if you have a lot going on with your mouth and you're having problems with your gums and stuff, it can actually lead to health problems all over your body. So that is why it's really important to keep up, as well as if all these tips and tricks don't work, you may have chronic bad breath. Having a chronic bad breath and it not going away can actually be due to a serious problem that you're unaware of. So the dentist is really going to help to make sure that you are all good and that there are no problems. Another reason that can be due to bad breath, I just want to throw this out there, is that it can be due to tonsil stones, which is actually quite common for a lot of us. Some of us experience tonsil stones in our life, some of us never do, and they're just little pebbles and rocks in the back of our mouth that actually produce an odor, which can be why you have bad breath more often. And don't be scared or anything like that, because you can remove them naturally at home. It's not like it's a huge deal where you have to do a surgery or something like that. It is super simple to get rid of if you ever do have any tonsil stones, but I just want to throw that out there because some of you may be unaware of it. The next tip is to make sure that you are brushing and flossing every single day, and that means twice a day, in the morning and at night. I was actually shocked to hear that how many people miss the morning brush, only brush at night or something like that, which definitely you need a brush in the morning as well, because we wake up with stinky breath most of the time, morning breath as we like to call it. So it's really important to make sure that you are personally keeping up with your own oral hygiene by brushing your teeth and flossing. It is really important to brush your teeth because it's going to help get rid of the plaque and bacteria that's building up on your teeth, and the flossing of course is going to help get rid of anything else that your toothbrush could not reach. My little tip, which I think is the most important, so if you're going to do anything and you haven't done this already, switch over to an electronic toothbrush as opposed to a manual toothbrush. I'll leave down below my favorite. You can buy a ton off like Amazon or find them anywhere, but my dentist has told me for years to make sure that you're using an electronic one, which I have switched over to an electronic one for years and I love it. I will never go back to a manual toothbrush in my life. It's just going to get the work done a lot better than you doing it yourself. So making sure that you are getting that electronic toothbrush, because it's going to make sure you get off as much plaque as you can yourself, and to also make sure you're flossing. So if you're someone who doesn't regularly floss, because I feel like a lot of us skip flossing, and that's something I definitely struggle with, but something I found helped me to get into the rhythm of flossing is buying little stick flosses, which I buy a bunch of these off Amazon. I'll have it linked down below as well, but this is really great to start with if you're not super into flossing but you want to get into the habit, because they're super easy, they're really convenient. You can also bring them in your purses, inside your knapsacks, whatever it may be. So starting off with those I think is really great, but in the end it's really great to transition to the actual floss. My dentist has always told me that the flossing with like the string is obviously the best. It's gonna help get in between those places the best, and it's just going to really get rid of everything, all the bacteria and stuff that you have in your mouth. So eventually I'd say try to switch over to that. But if you're gonna start and you don't really floss regularly, then try those little stick flosses, because doing something is better than doing nothing, right? If you don't floss regularly, the food in between your teeth are going to feed into the bacteria in your mouth. And the more nutrients that the bacteria in your mouth get, the more the bacteria will give off those stinky acids, which is what leads to bad breath. It is really important to make sure you're keeping your gums healthy and not just your actual teeth. Our gums are what can cause bad breath. Bacteria gather in the pockets at the base of your teeth, which causes an odor. Brushing those teeth and flossing. And the next one, which I feel like a lot of us forget to do, and that is cleaning your tongue. Your tongue is actually a huge reason why you have bad breath if you do, and I feel like a lot of us forget to clean our tongue. Bacteria tends to stick onto your taste buds. This releases a waste byproduct that causes a gross stench. So you need to make sure that you're not only cleaning your teeth and keeping up with your gums, but also cleaning your tongue. You could do this either with a tongue scraper, or you can use your electronic toothbrush. That is why it is essential to have your electronic toothbrush, and you can even just brush your tongue off if you don't have like a tongue scraper on hand or anything like that, and that is going to help get rid of the bacteria that usually causes your stinky breath. And lastly, I know a lot of us like to finish off our oral hygiene with a mouthwash. A little tip that you should make sure that you're looking into is make sure that you're purchasing mouthwashes that have no alcohol in them, because a lot of mouthwashes have alcohol in them. Alcohol dries out your mouth, and it's always important to keep your mouth moist, which we'll get into why later on. But that is why you should switch to a non-alcohol based mouthwash. Like I said, alcohol dries your mouth out, and you want to make sure that your mouth is moist. The saliva in your mouth actually washes out any food, and as well as cavity causing bacteria. And I will get into further detail about that now. So like I said, it is important to keep your mouth moist. Stinky breath can actually be caused by not having enough saliva. If you have things like alcohol or coffee, that's going to dry out your mouth. So it's important to make sure you're keeping up with your water, because your water is going to help moisten your mouth. It's going to help wash your mouth out, and as well as it's going to keep that area moist, which is what you want, because dry mouth compared to a mouth that is moist is more likely to lead to stinky breath. Saliva helps to clean your mouth out by washing and flowing around food particles and bacteria. That is why coffee breath is a thing, because coffee dries out your mouth, which leads to a stinky breath. That leads me into my next tip, which is what you put into your body is important. What you put in your body is really going to make a difference on how your breath smells on the outside. The first tip I have for you is to eat more of your veggies. This is really important because greens promote a more alkaline environment. It allows bad breath causing acid in your body to balance out. So that's why it's really important to add more green veggies into your diet. Another tip is to switch over to more crunchy, healthy foods, including things such as apple, carrots, and celery. The reason for that is because those foods are going to remove food stuck in between your teeth, as well as rub away any bacteria that sits on them. It kind of acts as a natural toothbrush in a sense. Another one is if you don't want to just drink water, a little tip I have for you is to drink more green juices as opposed to things such as coffee. The reason why is green juices contain a low level of acids as opposed to coffee, which contains high amounts. And another one is to eliminate odorous food as much as possible. So our body absorbs the food and the odors that we eat. So if you're gonna eat a lot of things that are have a lot of garlic in them, onions and chives, it's gonna show on the outside, it's gonna protrude out, and you're going to have more of a stinky breath. But if you're going on a date or something like that, try to avoid those food, because it's not the greatest smell that comes out of your mouth when you have foods that are high in these types of things. And lastly, when it comes to putting things inside your body, and that is just to take probiotics. You can do that either pill form, or you can have that through foods such as Greek yogurt, which is really full of probiotics. Probiotics are really great because it provides you with the enzymes that you need to break down the food that you eat. It also decreases the chance of food fermenting into your stomach. Probiotics really help to give you a healthy gut. And if you have an unhealthy gut, of course you're gonna smell it more on the outside. So you wanna make sure that you're focusing on your gut and helping that, and probiotics are the way to go. The next one is to skip after dinner mints and switch switch over to after dinner gum. And I do not mean those gums that are full of sugar. I mean switching over to natural gum. I actually love, I think it's called Pure Gum. I'll leave it down below. It is a great alternative to gum. It's natural and it's not gonna have sugar in it. You don't want sugar because bacteria in your mouth loves sugar. It uses sugar to make acid. This wears down your teeth and in turn leads to bad breath. So you really wanna look for natural gum, gum that doesn't have a bunch of sugar in it. And the reason why you want to switch to gum instead of mints is because gum stimulates saliva while mints do not. And like we talked about at the beginning, you want to make sure that your mouth is constantly producing saliva because that is actually a good sign that you're not going to have stinky breath. Oops. The last and final tip, which is super random and it's obviously not going to get rid of bad breath, but it's really going to help when you're in a pickle or an emergency situation and you don't have that gum, and that is to use flavored lip gloss. So of course this is not going to get rid of your bad breath, but it's going to help mask the odor. I love my NYX butter glosses. They smell like cupcakes and vanilla. So I'll link those down below. They're a really cheap alternative and they actually are really great lip glosses as well, may I add. But it's just something that's going to help mask it if you're in a pickle. Maybe you're on a date, you have nothing, and you need something to help with your breath. It's gonna help just a little bit, and when you're in those emergency situations, you will try anything. Those are all my tips and tricks, so hopefully you guys never experience stinky breath, especially in those awkward situations. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or concerns, like I said, you can always follow me on my socials, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook page. Make sure you guys leave that hygiene struggle down below so maybe I could do more videos like this. Also, click the subscribe button so you're a part of the YouTube family because I do upload every Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And if you head over to my channel, click the bell and become a part of the notification squad, you will be notified when I upload because sometimes YouTube won't notify you if you're not part of the notification squad. But I hope you guys are having an amazing day, evening, or night. Now that we have minty fresh breaths, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye!